Hey, welcome back in today's video. Gabbie Hanna, well, she's been causing a lot of commotion online this last month. I covered her last week because she was driving in her vehicle while she had her phone in hand. It was very dangerous. She was saying some terrible things to Angelica Oles, Rachel Oates, several things. And then out of nowhere, she proclaimed that the reason that she was acting this way was because of ADHD. And then she went on to be very excited about this, and it's a very sensitive subject because at the same time, you don't want to be insensitive to someone that's been diagnosed with something, but at the same time, you want to be like, say, hey, stop saying these very harmful things. And we're going to talk about this because people are getting hurt, and it's a little bit ridiculous. If you're unfamiliar with this topic, Google says that Gabbie Hanna is an American singer, songwriter, internet personality, author, actress. She started her career on the short video service Vine under the name The Gabbie Hanna Show, and started a YouTube channel with the same name a year later. She's currently 30 years old. The main thing that we're going to focus on in this video is Gabbie Hanna using all this as an excuse? Is she using this diagnosis to excuse her past behavior? That's what it is looking like. We're gonna go through it, and then I want you to tell me what you think.
Good morning. So today's on Gabbie Hanna is that I invalidated an entire community by saying that borderline personality isn't neurodivergent. So I thought this would be a really great learning opportunity. So I actually thought the same thing not long ago, and then I was corrected on it. So neurodivergency is dyslexia, ADHD, dyspraxia, and possibly others. I'm still learning so much about it. But I just replied to somebody and said, actually, borderline isn't considered neurodivergent, which to my knowledge, it's not. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm still learning so much. But I don't think that that constitutes, or it's fair to say that I invalidated everybody with borderline personality disorder by saying that it's not in the same bucket as neurodivergency. So
it's weird to me how she starts off by saying today's on Gabbie Hanna, like she's not even like, there's no chance there, like everybody is her, and then goes on to explain things in a way where it's almost like she feels like everybody watching is stupid. I mean, she's really coming off like she's the end-all, know-all, like she knows everything, and you and me know nothing. And this is a massive creator. 7.3 million followers on TikTok, 2.9 million on Instagram, 5.7 million on YouTube. I mean, and she's got other platforms with millions as well. So when she comes out and she says things and she's stating things as facts and saying they're hallmarks of this or that, it can be very, very damaging. One TikToker replies to her saying this:
borderline personality isn't neurodivergent.
Hi, diagnosed borderline. Since you've been diagnosed with ADHD, you wanted to educate us on borderline personality, so I figured I'd educate you a little bit. I'm sure if you're talking about BPD, you know who Marsha Linehan is. You know, the creator of DBT therapy, the most commonly used form of therapy for people with BPD. Dr. Linehan also has BPD. She describes BPD as a combination of a sensitive constitution combined with growing up in an invalidating environment. This would make borderline personality disorder a clear form of neurodiversity. The person is born with a vulnerable neurological constitution. Shame and other kinds of trauma cause an acquired form of neurodiversity and symptoms that parallel aspects of... By the way, your beliefs about BPD are rooted in misogyny and ableism. That hysterical woman's disorder. We're just crazy and doing stuff for attention. BPD is a personality disorder, and the things that you say about it can have serious effects for the people who have it. You probably just shouldn't speak on it. Stop trying to make your ADHD a competition for everybody else.
So when I heard this, I wanted to make sure that I wanted to see if she was actually trying to pass this off as an excuse. Was she actually telling people that the reason that she's acting this way is because of her, as it's a symptom of what she has? And I did find that evidence. She actually tweeted saying, "This weird behavior is because I'm neurodivergent. I've been called weird my whole life because trying to fit in a neurotypical world is very confusing, especially if you don't know you're typical. I'm really excited to share more information about my neurological soon." I heard another creator talk about this. It was Miasaurus. Man, I said that wrong. But I do want to say they're a cool creator. They got a really good personality. I'm going to put this video in the pinned comment. But they stated that it almost seems like Gabbie Hanna is trying to make this a competition. Like she's got her diagnosis. She feels very enthusiastic, a little bit too enthusiastic. And she's like so happy about this. And it's just coming off very strange. But then on the other hand, she just figured out a reason for this behavior that she's had her entire life, so she could be pretty happy about that. And I think that's a good seeing both sides there. But there is one thing that we do have to keep in mind about this, and that is that this behavior is hurting others. At one point saying, did you know a hallmark of ADHD is intense mood swings? In girls, ADHD is often misdiagnosed as bipolar. In boys, bipolar is misdiagnosed as ADHD. Follow along with my mood swings in my semi-public diary, patreon.com, Gabbie Hanna. And I think that's a little bit weird in and of itself. Like, this is not the first time I've seen this. She's like on the internet saying this or that, then okay, become a patron, give me money. That I could be completely wrong about this, but that's just what it looks like to me. It's like an attention feeding thing. But a user named Lexi says, this is pretty misleading. As a mental health professional, mood swings are not hallmarks or even distinguishing features of ADHD. While this can happen in people with ADHD, it's not a diagnosing symptom. Please do not spread misinformation. To which, and you remember in that earlier TikTok when I said Gabbie Hanna is coming off like everybody else is stupid, she's the end-all know-all. Well, she does it again here. Hey, a lot of mental health professionals are not fully educated on ADHD. Can you imagine telling a mental health professional that they're not fully educated on mental health stuff? And can you see how damaging that potentially is? That's why I go to a specialist and why I'm so passionate about educating. There's a lot of info on ADHD mood swings online, but I recommend starting with medical journals at your local library. Then she puts a list of things, to which Lexi responds, thanks for reading my comment, but the sources you cited are not medical sources. Mood swings are not a hallmark of ADHD, as they are not a distinguishing feature. Additionally, mental health professionals usually don't use the term mood swings. In the future, I'd recommend you do research using peer-reviewed articles. One additional thought, saying mental health professionals are not fully educated is incredibly damaging. It is, as this could stop people from seeking help, from trusting our field. Specialists are great, but often not covered by insurance until you see a psychologist, and incredibly expensive. And it is incredibly expensive. I've been seeing a therapist since 2017, and I was seeing them, and this was covered, and then all of a sudden the insurance switched up, and then I wanted to seeing the same dude, so I had to end up paying a lot more. Then another user suggested me this video, which we're gonna check out in just a second, saying, I've been getting more of a feeling that she seeks mental health answers so that she can downplay her past actions. Now that she has ADHD diagnosis, she's using it as a scapegoat anytime someone questions her. Here's a video I suggest.
Imagine finally having an explanation for the way that you act. Now, I'm not saying you gotta be happy about it, but she is, so what's wrong with that? Some people see their neurodivergency or like mental health issues in general as something they want to break away from, and other people see it as a huge important piece of them. Both are valid. And maybe she is playing it up for attention, which by the way is wrong, okay, because that's subconsciously making a mockery out of a lot of people's mental turmoil. But I also want to double back and say, like, yeah, she did just find out about it. So if she's at the start of her journey, I do think it's a little bit disturbing to be like, you know, the representative for everybody who's neurodivergent, because you're gonna need a lot more XP before you think you can fight the Enderman.
You know, I completely agree with this. Like, respect the journey, but don't just get your diagnosis and then act like you are the one that knows everything about it just because you Googled some articles online, and then want to start telling people who have had these issues for their entire lives. That's not okay. Mia brought up another tweet where it's completely deleted, but the user replies with, stop using ADHD as an excuse for everything, which we've already seen one example of her doing this. I want to know what she said right here at this deleted tweet. I'm going to see if I can find it in the Wayback Machine. Oh, I actually did find it. It was with misgendering Trisha Paytas. She said, I used she, her in a tweet, not intentional. I just have ADHD, and a lot of times I make careless mistakes because part of ADHD is executive function. Here's the correction. Holy crap. Whoa. And then again, here's another video, and she's been doing this. She's been driving around with her phone, making TikToks and Snapchats and just whatever else she does. And this user wants them to address the dangerous, distracted driving, and that's a really fair point. And it bothers me that she could possibly say this is a symptom of ADHD. This is where it comes into the point where I feel like I need to make a video and talk about this. One user says, please don't think this type of distraction is ADHD related. We don't do this crap. We have hard time thinking of everything at once, but we don't do stuff like this. Here's another tweet where she says ADHD is a neurodevelopmental that forms in childhood and progresses exponentially as you get older. ADHD brain functions extremely differently than non-ADHD brains, often leading to feelings of being misunderstood and depression. I'll definitely be sharing the journey where one user says, I struggle with the fact that I might have ADHD, but I feel like with the research I've done that I have it, but I don't want to self-diagnose. So it's this, just her commenting on this with such a large audience and being very reckless with the things that she's saying is causing people to potentially seek Google self-diagnosis, which is harmful. And it's just not good. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is a YouTuber named HelloLeash. They just released a video, and I want to signal boost it for them because it's pretty serious, and it caused a lot of harm to this person. They went through a lot, and this is what they have to say.
I said she convinced me to make a video in her favor. And that was just because we were friends for a couple of days, and so I was going to go to bat for her against all these people who were being mean to her. And then I saw that she was continuing to be a someone, and I didn't know that I felt okay with that anymore. I'm really hoping that I do this right and that there's a silver lining. Perhaps even that one of the channels picks up on this and I'm sorry, but sends the rest of the internet fucking back in her face. I don't ever wish this sort of stuff on people. I don't ever think people are evil or awful or bad, and I'm thinking that about her right now. I've never thought this of someone. I've never felt this way in my life. She is the meanest, nastiest person I have ever spoken to in my entire life. And I liked this girl. And I defended her at times.
I got a soft spot in my heart for something like this because I know what it feels like to really think you're friends with another creator and then just to turn their back on you and just be completely mean and just completely not what you expected. But Gabbie Hanna did send, like she does, this is a common thing that she does, pattern of behavior, which we're going to talk about that in another video later this week. Pattern of behavior of sending her viewers and her audience towards others to attack them, and that's what she did here, and it was completely uncalled for. But you need to watch this 49-minute video to understand the full context of this. It will be in the pinned comment.
So I actually don't really agree with this. I actually think it's a very complex problem, and that's why there's so much misinformation and misunderstanding about it. But just from the research that I've been doing for the last few months, neurodivergent...
The Google results from the last few months. The interesting thing about her TikToks where she's trying to explain this stuff as if she is a medical professional is that the comments from actual BPD mental health professionals are there. She's completely ignoring those and then picking comments that of her own choice that so she can just reply to them just to keep the attention going, and it's pretty obvious to me. You go back to her TikToks, check it out. The way she's using this, like I said, I don't want to be insensitive, but she sure is. So I think it is really important for me to make this video and raise awareness about this. YouTuber Miasaurus made a really good point in her video, and I feel like it encapsulates everything, and that Gabbie Hanna should really pay attention to these words.
I do think that she was using ADHD as a shield. And while I do think it also brings her a lot of joy to spread information about this, and the stigma, I think that it's wrong at this point in time to assume that you can represent an entire community of people. Many people hate living with this. Honestly, I hate living with all the things that I'm diagnosed with. And you know what? For me, if I define myself with my mental struggles, that takes away from me because that is not me. It affects me, but that ain't me. I think Gabbie has not made that distinction. Maybe she has no interest in making that distinction. If you don't want to do that, then bro, that's on you. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think that putting yourself in the limelight, yeah, a lot of the criticism is just dumb. But a lot of it is also valid. You did hurt a lot of people, and there's some responsibility to be taken there because there ain't enough bridges in the world for all of these trolls.
One thing I want to share with you guys is my friend Roberto Blake said to me, "Hey, Repzilla, I know you're researching ADHD. My friend Brian has been a leading voice for entrepreneurs with ADHD for years and has talked with professionals and really knows his stuff. You should take a look at his list here and his resources. I thought this would be really good for you guys, considering that, with the misinformation that we have been seeing." This guy, iSocialFans on Twitter, says, "Here are 28 plus aspects of ADHD that I didn't truly realize until I spent time with mental health professionals and the amazing ADHD Twitter community." I will have this in the pinned comment if you want to see the full list. We're going to go over just a little bit here. This list doesn't mean everyone with ADHD or struggling with mental health has these same symptoms, especially with ADHD. There are many different shades. I don't think Gabbie Hanna needs to be on the internet. I just don't. That being said, and as interesting as this is, there's always something that's more interesting to me. That's right, you guessed it. I want to know what you think. So why don't you go ahead and leave your creative and interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up for those likes, and as always, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. We're going to need positivity turtles for this one, and if you're new to this channel, the positivity turtle is a Rep Squad Best Squad symbol. It's a ceramic turtle that my mom gave me that I keep right here when I'm covering difficult topics, and it reminds me to be positive. And you too can use your positivity turtle emoji and spread positivity, because that's what we do here. Also, if you'll do me a favor, consider donating to my fundraiser this year for RAIN. It helps survivors in difficult situations. We've been doing it all year. We're almost 50% to goal. I really want to hit this goal. I know we can do it. I want to raise $10,000. I want to raise more. I have big goals on raising money for charities. I feel like that's what I want to do with my platform. Other than that, if you would like to become a patron, get your name at the end of my videos here, then the pinned comment will have the link to the Patreon, and you are welcome to check it out and see if that's something that you want to do, because that's just another way to show that you're repping if you're not repping your Greg. And how you do that, all you do is subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe with notifications turned on. Be in the comment section after every single video, because I'm going to be there. Greg the Cat's going to be there, and the rest of the Repzilla community as well, and I expect to see you there too. I expect to see you there too, because this channel loves you.